Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today we're talking about how to finish the summer season strong with Thaddeus Tondu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent, my friend. And how are you?
Doing very well. Thaddeus from HVAC Unleashed and HVAC Revealed is his podcast. We've got so many good questions here for you. It's gonna be a little, basically a HVAC marketing consultation for you in your earbuds today. So I want to start with kind of like a quick hard question for fun to get this started. And
let's do it.
A bad lead and a good lead for an HVAC company.
Bad lead is the tire kickers. Those guys are the worst because they come in and they just want the price on the phone because they're shopping and they're kicking those tires, right? That's nothing worse than that. I generally get that a lot with some of the Facebook ads that you run, and you can actually weed some of those out with some automations. A good lead are the ones that are like, my system is down, come out ASAP.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can get to them right away, now you have the opportunity to be able to take a service call and flip it into a turnover. And to be able to get an install out of that, should it fit, right?
Well, I just had somebody on my podcast talking about this for HVAC, plumbing, etc. But like down season, up season stuff, like when you have busy stuff, scaling up your staff and scaling it down, it leads us into the kind of big question of the podcast, which is, how do you finish the summer season strong? A lot of people are basically, sometimes when you're busy, you feel like you're in one of those money cyclone machines and you're grabbing the chunks of cash as a business owner, but you're also tired and you're scared that you're missing the summer a little bit with your family but how do you finish the summer season strong without getting discouraged, for whether it's staffing issues or just making sure that you're getting enough business, what you need to have to finish out the season?
Yeah, 100%. And that's such a loaded question right now in 2021. You really because you can turn on your marketing and you can crush it and get a ton of leads coming in, but with the equipment shortages that people are facing and the pricing increases are going to hit a lot of businesses hard. Like some of the bigger dealers and some of the bigger centers that have buying power are at a little bit of a struggle, even to get some of the equipment in. And so first and foremost, if that is coming up against you, look to diversify your product listing. And what I mean by that is, if you're exclusively Trane, but you can't get in all those units, well, maybe go somewhere else. Maybe look at a Goodman, maybe look at an Amana, maybe look at a Lennox, or a Ream, or whatever brand you want to look at. So not being exclusive to one is going to help you out through those shortages. The other one too is, if there's a common system that gets installed within your area, like here in Canada, we have we don't necessarily need the super high SEER ratings, two-stage AC units for the summer, because our summers generally don't get super hot, super humid. So if there's a common product that's installed in your area, maybe buy a bunch and stockpile those. So that way you can actually flip those installs a lot quicker. That's a huge one to be able to take advantage of that. I know we chatted about this before, and a couple notes that I've written down. One of the other ones is, okay, now that you have that equipment shortage out of the way, well, what were your goals, right? I mean, did you have a goal for the summer? Are you on pace to hit it? What do you need to tweak and change in order to be able to make sure that you're on pace to hit those goals? A lot of times people say, yeah, my goal is going to be $3 million this summer. Well, okay, what do you need to do to get there? Oh, and they don't have a clue. And so understanding the what goes into hit those numbers, but also reviewing those frequently. And I'm not saying every single day, although some guys and the level of the business that they're at will review those goals and those numbers every single day to make sure that they're hitting what they need to hit. And if it's just you and your truck, well, maybe review those weekly. If you've got you and a few trucks, well, maybe you want to look at those daily, but having that idea and adjusting those little course corrections on the way. I mean, you look at like a sailboat. A sailboat doesn't go in a straight line down the ocean. It zigzags back and forth because it's continually course correcting and course adjusting. And you look at even an airplane, for example, if an airplane starts and they're 1 degree off course, by the time they end up at their destination, they're going to be wildly off where they needed to land the plane at. So those small course corrections to be able to hit your goals are big things, from that. But the other part too is, and I think a lot of businesses actually fail on this, is getting your team bought into your marketing and your goals, and something that they can rally around, right? A revenue goal and an income goal for your business, your team's not going to rally around that. They'd be like, hey, we're going to sell $3 million this summer, and I'm going to make 20% of that. So I'm going to make myself, 600,000. Team's not going to give a shit. They're not going to give a shit if they're going to make you 600 grand in the summer. They're not going to care if your business is going to do 3 million. But if you break that down, saying, okay, from those numbers, we need to, and I'm going to pluck these out of the air. These don't have any bearing or effect, and I can actually work this backwards and tell you exactly what the numbers would be. But we're going to install 100 units this summer, and we're going to do 400 service calls. Okay. Well, now your team can rally around that because you can cross those off. We've helped 500 people this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're talking. Now we've got movement. Now people buy into that of helping the customer out, helping people have better comfort in their homes. And if you can even pivot that now. When your team gets bought into those entirety of those goals, guess what happens? Everything else just falls into place, right? And they care more about the people that they have on the other end.
Yeah.
Those are a couple things. There's
like
I could probably talk for 10 more minutes. Marketing, obviously, dump money into advertising, right? Not on pace. Well, hey, okay, do advertising.
That's a great transition into my next question, which, you've helped a lot of companies with their marketing. Dude, I just got a little Canadian with the way I said that. The marketing.
Marketing. It's okay. Process and process.
Minnesota here, so I'm kind of halfway between.
Right. You're dang.
A little
Canadian.
bit of Canadian in me.
Yeah.
So, what's the hardest part from your perspective about HVAC marketing? What do you see the people? What do you see the people really struggling with when they come to you and your team a lot?
They've had a bad experience with somebody. I think that's something that we as a business have to continually overcome. But the reality of digital marketing is that there's literally no barrier to entry, right? You don't need a certificate, you don't need an education, you don't even need a course. Really, all you need is a laptop and an internet connection, and you can call yourself a digital marketer. Same
goes for employees as well. If you're an internal marketing manager, it is a little bit scary that just so you could burn a year on somebody, and that's a salary, that's $60,000 or whatever, and you burned it, it's gone. And that person could have kind of been inflating. And to be honest, you and I have hired marketing people, and there's a little bit of you have to go through a lot. I've failed in hiring many, many times on marketers. I've failed, and then I've succeeded. And so just noting that you can fail. This goes with agencies, hiring a local agency that's not really specialized, or hiring an internal marketing person that is kind of inflating. People do it. We all do it. When we apply for a job, we inflate our experience.
Right. And 100%. Well, even you look at, I have a business degree, and it's right, it's right over there. The only reason I put it up is because I wanted it in the background. But literally, I remember, so when did I graduate? 2009. So really 12 years ago. So not that long ago, but also a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time for a specialist.
For marketing, I remember taking the marketing course, and we did in 2008, and we analyzed Rock Band and how Rock Band was a phenomenon, and now nobody plays Rock Band.
Yeah.
right? And so like the constant change of things is so fast that somebody says, hey, I've got a degree in marketing. Okay, well, you had a bunch of professors who have probably never ran a marketing campaign in their entire life
Yeah.
teach you how to do marketing.
Yeah.
And so it's this notion that,
By the way,
people
that's
go,
if I think some company owners, like, it's been a while since you're in college. Do you remember how bad your professors were? So yeah, just people coming out
oh,
of
right.
school means nothing. Not to say you can't be amazing in coming out of school, but it's just there's such a high amount of people that are, I'm not going to say it, just underprepared for
Mhm,
real work in
mhm.
this scenario. And that means ideally you get somebody with a couple, if you're hiring internally, and I'm just going to
Yes.
say it, like, I think ideally a couple years of experience, ideally.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's what you look at, for hiring a marketing company, right? I mean, yeah, okay, you can hire it internally, but are they going to be specialized?
Mhm.
Probably not.
Yeah.
They've got experience across the board. Whereas if you hire an HVAC specific marketing company, and heck, even if you're listening to this and you're not an HVAC company, let's say you're a painting company, there's painting marketers
Yeah.
out there, there's landscaping marketers out there, there's dentist marketers out there, there's chiropractic marketers out there that specialize in that particular vertical, in that niche. That's what you need to do, and that's what you need to
Yeah.
find, and you need to have the proven results behind that so they can show you. And that's really the biggest thing, is don't just take it on face value. Ask for testimonials. And
How do you,
testimonials are kind of like a wash, because, well, if somebody's like, hey, can I contact one of your customers? Sure, I'm going to give you my best customer.
well, a question for you, like, how do you not be romantic? So this is scary. If, like, let's say you've been working with a local agency or something, it's kind of scary to just like pull the plug on that. Somebody you knew, the devil you know versus the devil you don't. It's kind of scary.
Yep.
There's a fear there. Like, I can go out and talk to that person. I can kneecap them if I need to, like, versus like the guy across the country. And by the way, we work with contractors all around the country. So I'm not challenging you in a way that I believe in this, by the way. I believe
Hmm.
in specialized agencies. I'm just saying it is scary. How do you not be romantic about your marketing partner and make the leap to somebody who actually understands your problem? How do you not be romantic in business?
And it's tough, right? Because it's your business, it's your livelihood, it's your bread and butter, it's your baby. It's all those things combined and wrapped into one. So to separate the emotion from business decisions can be difficult, right? First and foremost. So if a person's already realizing this, hey, you're one step ahead of the curve, right? But that goes back to, when you were chatting before we jumped on, is, well, are you happy with the results? That's the first question. Are you happy with the results that they've been giving you? And if the answer is anything other than yes, then you need to have that conversation to say, okay, well, maybe it's time for a change.
Mm,
Have that conversation. It's, at the end of the day, you don't owe them anything for your business.
yeah.
You really
And
don't. It's
I,
a business decision, not a life decision. The one example that I was thinking of was, back in dating, right? And
mm,
most people can relate because they've dated, right? You ask yourself the question when you're on your date with the person is, can I see myself spending the rest of my life with this person I'm on a date with?
mm,
Right? Or that I'm seeing. And sometimes people get blinded by, certain things in relationships, et cetera. But ask yourself that question, can I see myself continuing on this business relationship? I want to go to $10 million per year. I'm at 5. Can I see this company helping me get to 10?
yeah.
And if there's doubt, they're not the right company.
And some of it comes to graph trajectory of leads and whatever else you're trying to push on your KPIs. So I've had people come to us and say, I have this, and this going on with my current agency. I'm not loving them because the project manager or something, just not my style, or I have some issue with the way they're communicating. And I look at the graph and the leads are good. And you should you should not be romantic in that way either, to be honest. Like, it's good to have a good partner, but I'm just saying, like, and the relationship does matter, and we focus on that a lot. But the point is like, what are the results?
Mhm.
And like, I've been talking to an HVAC company in town that's working with a big boy corporate agency that works with a lot of HVAC companies. I'm not going to name names. It's a small stinging animal. And they, in the last 4 or 5 months, their organic traffic has almost halved
Wow.
since they started working with them. I know they're spending a lot of money on ads, so they're kind of glossing over some of the metrics that so by spending a bunch more money on ads, they're basically burying this important fact that their organic traffic has almost halved since they launched the new website. And it makes me sad and mad.
Hmm.
And so watch out also, besides the local company that isn't specialized, watch also for the large corporate agency that doesn't care if the business fundamentals underneath are rotting, because
Right.
they can gloss over it with like just ad spend. I'm happy because I talked to this person. They said the leads are good. So that matters. That matters. But also there's other metrics to pay attention to and watch for your traffic on your website, your organic traffic, watch for the leads, watch for ideally parse out where the leads are coming from. And I think that that's a big thing to really focus on, because if all your paid leads are going up, but all the organic search leads are going down, you got to watch those things too. Just kind of have some, like, to me, it's all about knowing your numbers and ultimately at
Hmm.
the end of the day, owning your marketing. And we were talking about that a little bit before we got on here too, of just like, ideally, you have an agency running your ads for you, but you're also you're paying the ad budget, so you don't, like, I think sometimes people lump them all together, and that's a little harder because then you don't have the ability to lever up the summer, push up the budget. You should be able to push up your budget when it's busy season and bring it down when it's not busy season. So I get a little worried about these agents, like, and I've done it before too, but just like we're lumping all the ad spend and the management together, and I don't know what I'm getting. So
Yep.
watch out for that proprietary blend sometimes.
They just show you the total end of the day. But transparency, right? Like I get two things that pop into mind. One is the transparency, right? I feel that there's a lot of guys in the digital marketing space that don't want to reveal that because they're scared that, oh, the SEO sucked, but hey, look at all these leads from our paid traffic, so we're just going to lump it all together, so it's just amazing. So they don't want to break that down. But the other thing too is, this is kind of a potentially an unpopular opinion, but for us, we don't really care. You know what? If you're unhappy with the SEO, but you love their Google ads and Facebook ads, well then give the SEO to another company,
Yeah.
and then keep the other company for the Facebook and the Google ads.
Yeah.
Because us as an organization, we are insanely. We'll work with anybody in any capacity to
Yeah.
be able to make sure that their business is taken care of the right
Good.
way.
That's
If
good.
that means that we're only going to do one chunk of your marketing and somebody else is going to do another chunk, we'll work with that company, right? There's a lot of other companies that will say, well, if you're not going to do it all with us, see you later, find somebody else. They won't do these things, and they won't take you into consideration to be able to have your business grow the way that it should. So
Yeah.
that's also another conversation to have when you're looking for your marketing. People say, hey, if I'm working with two different marketing companies, do you care?
Yeah.
Answer should be no.
Yeah. I guess I'll add one caveat to that, just in case any of our clients currently, like, it
That's
is
fair.
currently are listening, which is, it's not ideal to have the one agency delegate to the other, or
Yeah.
like, ideally you have a single point of contact for your agency that divvies out the stuff. I think that can be a conflict. So like, if you have a paid ad agency and they're delegating to the website and SEO people, it can be a weird thing, because we'll do we'll be doing basically the PPC or the ad company's work on the website that they probably should be handling. So ideally, basically single point of contact is your a best bet. And that's good for the people too, because they should be like I say, I believe you should be owning your marketing. You should be the one like either you or an internal marketing manager should be delegating, and there should be clear deliverables from the companies that you're working on. But that's just a side note, just in case any of our current clients are listening.
I would hope that all your current clients are listening. Although, I mean, hey, we have our show too, and I know that people are busy, right? So you got busy lives.
I assume to be real with you, I assume none of our clients listen to this. If you listen to this and you're a client, could you email me and just say I heard that podcast? I would be very curious. We get, between all just kind of off, we get a good chunk of people listening to this in various forms, YouTube, then the podcast, then little clips that we put out on social media, which is a gangster move, by the way. If you're doing a bunch of content creation, is to turn it into 5 things.
Yep.
Sometimes into a blog post. But, ultimately then it's like 100 eyeballs or something that see some piece of this, or 1,000 or whatever, and those, those chunks are really the most viewed. So sometimes we'll get like a 500 view or 1,000 view of the little chunk of a piece of content. But honestly, my favorite attitude on this is just no one cares. I do a lot of content and I assume no one cares. Like realistically, I think it's a good mindset too for contractors, because we get all self-serious and we think every single piece of content that we put out, like people give a shit. And that is, I think it holds us back from doing as much as we could. Do you know what I mean? It holds you back, because ultimately you should be almost like publishing every day on social media in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter how high quality is, because quantity leads to quality. It should be intentional practice, but it shouldn't be you sitting there thinking everyone is really scrutinizing you. We're all thinking about ourselves. We don't care about you. And like, if we see you, it's just like, oh yeah, reminder that guy exists. Same with see content and they're reminded that you exist. They're not always watching or listening to every little thing, but it's the pulse. It's being there. It's showing up every day. And so I think that more people, I wish more of our company owners, if they're listening, that we're working with, would show up every day on social. That would be amazing. If I could get them to show up every day on social, that would really help.
Well, and here's the reality of why people don't, or they do it and then they stop because they didn't get any likes, or they didn't get any comments.
Yeah, and
right, like
people still see it. Just because you didn't get likes and comments doesn't mean people didn't see it.
Well, and I get this all the time, and like the last 2 weeks, I haven't had a lot of content come out on my Facebook page, just because I had a baby. Sorry, I was off. Content was not on my mind. Taking care of my baby and my wife were, right. Pretty preoccupied.
There are exceptions.
That was a wild ride, but like the amount of times that we actually hear from people.
Congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. The amount of times that I've heard from people in like messages or after I jump on a call with them, it's like, yeah, I love all your content. Thank you for continuing to put it out. You put it out a lot. Sweet. But they've never commented. They've never liked it. Right. So you never know who's actually interacting with it. Just because they don't like it or they don't comment on it doesn't mean they didn't watch it, or they didn't see it, or they didn't read it, or they didn't interact with it in some way, shape, or form.
And those are just the people that said it. Like, those are just the people that, like, for some reason, like, you're hanging out with them and they told you that. Like, I really appreciate it. And you're like, you haven't commented, you haven't, like, think about the 500 other people that also kind of feel that way about your content. And, if you don't get any likes and comments and stuff like that, obviously that's a bad sign. Keep on working, keep on sharpening your skills. You know what? I'm going to do one plug and then I'll let you wrap up with your thing. Is I have a social media course for contractors that's free. If you go to hookagency.com/contractor course. God damn it. I don't have I got
Put it in the show notes later.
Yeah, hookagency.com/contractor course. And we'll, it's 35 days. The first 5 are prep. And then the last 30 days are actual, just like prompts. So they're prompting you on social. So anyways, Thaddeus, give us your link. I'm sure there's some people that want to talk.
Yeah, 100%. So the way I always frame it is if you're at all curious, about having call with us, check us out at HVACunleashed.com. You can also follow me on the old Facebooks as well. I don't know my link off. I think it's just facebook.com/Thaddeus.Tondu. But all my stuff's public, so you can just search my name out and find it on there and kind of see some of the content, who we're all about. But if you want to jump on what I call a first date call or a discovery call, literally that's what it is, right? It's us getting to know each other and seeing if there's something there that would be a potential fit, on our side or your side. And if it's not, then hey, that's totally cool as well. We usually give you a couple tips from the discovery call, and on we go from there. The other part, I actually didn't mention this when you talked about looking at marketing agencies as well, is are they only going to work with one person in your area? Right? I mean, you think about that, like if you have somebody that's running 5 different HVAC companies all within one city, and there's some caveats, like if you're talking like a 10 million population, okay, the 5 million population in the geographic area, maybe you can have 2 or 3 companies on there just because you're not actually cannibalizing the ad dollars at that point. But if you have a handful of companies that are all in the same market, well, now you're competing them against each other with their own ad dollars as a marketing agency. And so it becomes even more difficult to get the results. So we only work with one company per geographic area on there. So it's also an exciting thing. So that way you know that it's also 100% yours, not shared leads, shared anything. So if you want to get in touch, you want to have that call, it's HVACunleashed.com/contact. And then there's multiple ways you can get in touch. Send us an email, or just jump on and book a discovery call right on that page.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you so much for sharing your wealth of experience. And obviously the podcast is put on by Hook Agency, hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. Thanks guys for listening, and have a good one.